Welcome to Reddit Reader, where we dive into the stories on r/pettyrevenge, for all your stories of small victories over those who've wronged you. We have 2 stories for you today. Our next story comes from a user named Saxter titled, Payback on Cheating High School Ex-Girlfriend Who Broke My Heart. In high school, I was a senior and she was a junior. Tops of our classes. You know, standard good kids, and I was like Wally Cleaver. Her family was very religious, think of the Flanderses. While her folks were weary of her dating, they loved and trusted me and invited me over to their house frequently. It should be noted that all during the time we dated, we never had sex. Her folks had the talk with both of us and were concerned that their baby girl would end up preggers. But I loved her enough to respect her folks' wishes and never made her uncomfortable. Had it played out right, I could have seen us being married. Fast forward to after my graduation. After a few months, we still lived in the same town, and she was to start in my college in the fall. She up and dumps me. Later I heard that she'd been cheating on me and he was going to take her to her senior prom, even though we planned to do so. She told her folks I dumped her after finding someone else. Several months later, I spot her and her mom shopping in the local grocery store. They don't see me. I had a hat and grew a nice beard and kept a safe distance, and I didn't want to get into a conversation with the mom, who obviously had been told I'd done her daughter wrong. So I waited until they left their cart unattended, and placed a box of condoms and lube in their buggy, and covered them. When they got to the checkout and her mom started taking items out of the cart, she found them. And promptly flipped out. It was like watching the mom and Carrie, all the while the ex was, BBB but those aren't mine. And the mom was, how long have you been having sex? Who is it with? And the shoppers around them snickering as hard as I was. Bonus, I went through my checkout fast, and got to my car to watch the show continue. The mom was still fussing on the way to the car and, as they drove off, I could still see her wagging finger. Our last story is from a user named Jungle Rumble 19 post, Revenge on the Office Karen. This is not my story, it belongs to a friend of mine. I couldn't stop laughing at the subtlety and nuance of her win this week and have to relate it. A is an executive assistant for the CEO. While she works mostly for one person, there's an executive team that she also does some work for, and one of these is C. C, for want of a better word, is the epitome of the office Karen. She takes great joy in being condescending, rude, taking credit for everyone else's work and throwing people under the bus. Difficult to work with is a bit of an understatement. When I first started working there, C reported her to her boss for an attitude on a number of occasions, when all A was doing was trying to hide her frustration because C was deliberately being obtuse and making A's life unnecessarily difficult. A's boss is well aware of the friction, however C is actually very good at her job and she's clever enough to not cross lines that will get her in deep trouble. A decided if she couldn't beat M, she'd join them, in the best and most subtle possible way. Earlier this week A ensured her boss overheard her talking to a client, praising C to the heavens. It was actually a real client call, not faked. When she hung up, her boss praised her for being the bigger person and talking up C despite their relationship. When C came in, the boss made a special mention to her that A had been praising her while it just sat there smiling innocently at her. C was not happy about this, but couldn't do or say a thing without looking like an ass. To put the cherry on top, the following morning A greeted her with a C. You look so tired, are you okay? Can I make you a coffee? C said no and stomped into her office. Every time she came out A proceeded to say, you really don't look well. Are you sure you're okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Meanwhile A's boss overheard all of these exchanges and once again praised her for setting aside their differences and trying to make things work. By the end of the day C was visibly seething and A was the boss' new favorite. We believe C may well be a basket case by Christmas. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so, hit that like and subscribe.